Good evening. Have one on today. God is good and God is good all the time. My name is Irma Michelle, Spiritual Divine. I'm here to give you a word on today. And the topic going to be move forward, even in doubt, but have faith. Because in your storm, you have to have faith to move forward. The storm may rise, the wind may blow, but you have to have faith to move in that storm. If you stay in doubt and unbelief, you will not move at all. You'll be like Peter. You will start to sink when he looked back. And Jesus said he had doubt. He started being afraid when he heard the wind and all that going on. He turned around. Instead of him turning back around to God, to Jesus, he starts to sink and call out to Jesus for help. Now, this story about moving forward in your storm, even in doubt, but have faith. Sometime in your storm, the storm gonna be rising. But in the midst of that storm, when doubt and unbelief come into your mind, don't stay in that doubt. You have to have faith and keep on moving forward. So without faith, it's impossible. It's impossible to move in your storm. You got to have faith. You have to have faith, and you also have to trust God. In the mix of it. I know sometimes I have a faith wave. Sometimes we trust God, but then it's feel like we don't trust God. Because we might cry, we might whine, we might complain. But we have to trust God, and you have to have faith to move forward. Faith can move mountains. Faith can turn your storm around, even in the mix of the storm. With the wind and the storm raising higher and higher. I'm a witness, but I still move forward. I don't stay in the corner and just cry all day long. I still work hard, putting in the hard work and move forward. Because if you stand at a standstill in your doubt and your unbelief, you letting the devil win, because that's all the devil do is put that in your mind. Doubt and unbelief. You have to believe that God is fighting for you. You have to believe that God is on your side. If you keep believing what the devil said, you will never move nowhere. You know, faith can move mountains, and faith can move your stone. And you have to keep pressing your way through. Even in your doubt, never stay there. Because you will sink like Peter, and you have to call out to Jesus to reach his hand out and help. So it will keep you not to move. The storm may raise, but keep moving forward. Have enough faith to trust God. Our faith may wait, but we have to trust God. We have to trust God to move, because He the only one can get us out of our storm. He created our drought. He know when He gonna end it, and He know when we gonna come out of it. So I will talk to you about two stories with doubt, but they both had a little faith. Even in your doubt, you have to have faith to move forward. One, I'm gonna talk to you about this widow of Zarephath. She was living with tools that she had, even in doubt. And her and her son was surviving. She had to doubt that her and her son was gonna die, but she had a little faith to survive, to move forward each day. And down the line, we're gonna see that God gonna proceed two miracles to remove that unbelief, to trust Him. God can do it. God can do it. He searched her heart, and so that he was seeing all these supernatural miracles and stuff, and she still had in her heart unbelief. He changed all of that at the end. You know, and two, we're gonna talk about Peter. Peter had a little faith to get out of the boat, but then when that wind came, he started being afraid, and he started having doubt, and he started sinking. And long as he had little faith, he was walking on top of that water, going toward Jesus. And then when that doubt kicked in, you heard that wind. And see, that's how we is. When our storm can start raising, the devil can keep on sending obstacles in our way, and we just start panicking. We just start panicking. And we'll start God entered into my life and pulled me out of a pit. You, you know, so we can be put placed in a pit. We can start sinking like Peter. But we got to get our minds together and not be stuck in that doubt, and move forward in faith, because faith is the only thing can move mountains and can move your stone. You know, and you have to trust in God in the process. You know how to move forward in doubt with little faith. I'm a woman that's doing it now. You know, I have faith. I have faith. I have enough faith to keep on moving me forward. You know, I don't let the doubt and unbelief stay in my mind. You know, because you let the doubt and the unbelief stay in your mind, you will never move nowhere. You know, everybody, you know, we saying, oh, she's still moving forward. Even though it looked this way and it looks that way, I'm going to still move forward because I have enough faith, belief that God is fighting my battle. You know, you got to put God in the mix of your storm, and you got to trust God and believe that He is on your side, that He's in your corner. You know, but God have to see that you putting in the hard work. You know that you're trying to change to move forward for Him to move that mountain. You know, but you can't stand still in that doubt and not to believe. I'm a woman of a witness. You know, you got to have faith and you have to trust God in your storm. You know, so first we're gonna talk about this widow. You know, this widow on Zapharad and her son. You know, so there was a famine in her land, and she used the tools that she had to survive for her and her son. Now she had all she had was flour and earth to survive, you know, but she had doubt that her and her son would die. You know, she had a little faith to keep on making it through day by day, but then she had that doubt kick in, telling her that just make that flour and that herb. You gonna die. You and your son gonna die. You know, the devil can be in your ear and tell you all that, and she just stuck on that. When Elijah came, Elijah asking her what she doing. I'm picking up six and to fix this last meal because me and my son gonna die. You can't speak negative over your life. You know, I've written something down that every morning I speak positive over my life that I will live and to complete my mission and live a prosperous life. That's how you got to live. No matter how your situation is, don't never have doubt in your mind that, okay, I'm going to die. It just look this way. I'm going to die. I just might as well just do such and such and just believe that I'm going to die. No, you cannot talk like that. You don't want God to hear you talking like that. You know, you got to have faith. You got to believe. Oh, no. I don't care how my circumstances is. I'm going to live. You know, no matter how, it, you know, no matter how the situation look, you know, that you're going to live, that you will live. You got to speak those words. I speak it every morning. And she had doubt that she believed that her and her son would die, you know, but she had a little faith to keep on surviving, you know, knowing that God would send someone, you know, who you think will create the drought. God create the drought. And God know when He wants to stop. You know, so God sent Elijah, you know, so now God know that she had doubt, you know, because God had searched her heart and know that she had unbelief, you know, and so God had a plan. You know, He didn't tell Elijah what the plan was. All He told Elijah that was a drought. I need you to go over there by this widow. You know, so a lot of events happened that Elijah didn't even know was gonna occur. You know, but God did. God had wrote out a plan. See, God gonna always have a plan for your life. You never gonna be in a storm and not know what direction. I mean, you gonna not know what direction you're at, but God know what direction you're gonna go to. You know, we just have to trust God and believe and let God guide us through the storm. You know, so she had doubt, she had unbelief. You know, but God would proceed two miracles, to change her heart. You know, to trust Him. The flour and oil is all she had, you know, but God would turn that flour and oil to food every day that she would never run out. You know, supernatural miracle. You know, and this is a supernatural miracle that God is proceeding in her life for her to still have unbelief. And we all sometimes be like that. God can show miracle in our life every day. You know, we'll be just like the Israelites, just always complaining. You know, we still got clothes on our body, still have food on the table. You know, we might be struggling, but still you're alive and you're still surviving each day. You know, but we still will complain. You know, now God's son, God perceived a supernatural miracle for her. You know, that all she had was flour and oil. And God turned that into food for every day. That she would never run out until He decided that He wanted to send rain. You know, so the flour and oil never ran out. Now she will never run out of food until God send rain. You know, so that's the miracle. that God had. That's the first miracle that God had sent down, a supernatural miracle. But then God searched her heart and saw that she still had unbelief. That was the plan, was to show these miracles for this woman that God already knew she had unbelief and doubt. So God had to do a second miracle on this woman here. You know, God gonna keep on showing miracles to try to search your heart to change, for your heart to change. So God to her son something that she loved to her heart. Her son got ill. So Elijah didn't know what was going on. The woman started coming at him. You come over here. What you came over here to deal with me because of my sin? And Elijah didn't know nothing about her sin. She just started fussing at Elijah. If my son started being ill, sooner you come here. So Elijah was confused. He started praying to God like, what's going on? So God said, proceed this miracle I'm about to do. He started praying and calling out in the name, and in the name of the Lord, and then God restored her son back to life. Restored her son back to life. Now God got glory over this, and also Elijah. Elijah panicked in his own self. He had to go to God in tears, praying like, "What's going on? This woman coming at me that I allow her son to get sick." So after her son had restored and God perceived that miracle right in front of her face, she had no choice but to turn around and say, "Oh, I believe and trust in God, and also you, that God sent you as a prophet. You was a man of God." See, that's all God wanted to do, to change her heart. And now she believed in God. See, some people don't believe in God. Some people don't believe in miracles. You know, some people don't believe in his prophets. That's why a lot of times God had to show miracles through his prophet. It was God's power and strength that went through Elijah to perceive those miracles. They're just like with Moses. All the miracles Moses did. Sometimes God had to put power in his prophet for people to believe and trust in it, because God have his prophets to do the work for him on earth. You know, so so her son restored back to life, and now she said she trusts God that he sent Elijah the prophet here to save her and her son. She trusts, and now she believes. And she also have food every day, that she never ran out of food, and all she had was flour and herb. So that's a supernatural miracle that God had proceed in her life. So now we see a widow and her son reached the absolutely end of their researches. Now she was surviving every day, so she came ultimately to an end of her researches. And you know that God is a God that always always on time. She had to reach the end of her research, and she was about to fix her last meal until Elijah showed up. God may take a long time, but then when God step in, he always step in right on time. You know, and so she in the end of her research and never imagined a miracle that God had planned. See, God planned that miracle. He planned that miracle. That's why he sent Elijah over there. So the same God who caused the drought. See, God caused the drought, and see, God know how to end the drought when He feel like it. Is perfectly able to give substance to this woman and her son, and God prophet Elijah. See, everybody got God and Elijah got miracle out of this. She had enough food daily, a supernatural, food that never ran out, abundance of flour and herb that never ran out. She had doubt, but a little faith. But when her resources appears to be tapped out, we can trust that our God is greater than our natural circumstances. We might think our circumstances is so big. It might be big to us. It might seem like we're never going to get out of this storm. But we have a God that's greater than our problem. And we might first we might not understand. We might complain. But then after you calm down, you have to realize that is a mighty God that's more powerful than our big old storm. You know, she thought she was going to die in that drought. Never known that God had a plan for her life and sent his prophet over there to precede that miracle through Elijah. and now she living, she eating every day, and she have her and her son, because she started crying. I had my son for my old age, for my old days, and now he gone. What I'm gonna do, you know? So a lot of them back there have children for the old age, because she always in the field and all that kind of stuff. She knows that she was gonna get old one day, and her son was gonna take over. But then she realized he was gone, So now, so doubt will keep you at a standstill, but faith can move mountain. Now we see that she had a little faith to be able to survive, but she had doubt that kick in that her and her son would die. So God had to proceed two miracles for her to trust Him because God searched her heart. The first miracle, she still had unbelief, and God had sent supernatural food to her. The second miracle, she trusts and she believed in God. She also believed God that sent his prophet Elijah to her to help. Her son got ill, but then God restored her son back to life. So now she believed and she trusts in God. So that's a story on the widow. God known that she had unbelief, so He had wrote out a plan for her life. See, God will come with plan A, and if plan A don't work out, He come with plan B. Now He did plan A, now she still had unbelief, so He had to pull out plan 2. You know, plan 2 had worked it out. So she trusts and she believed in God. So God is a smart God. He write out plans and stuff like that. He'll write out plan A, plan B. A don't work out. That just like with your situation. That sometimes you might think you're going in this direction, but God start putting the pieces together, and you might have to take a U-turn and go in a whole another direction. Because God will always put certain things in another perspective when plan A don't work out. So this story. Now we're gonna talk about the story about Peter. He had doubt, but he had a little faith to get out of the boat, to start walking on top of the water. So now the other disciples, they stood in the boat and they played it safe. So Jesus told the disciples to get into the boat and go on ahead of him to the other side. So now Jesus was ready to catch up with the disciples, but they had gone a little too far. So Jesus began to walk on water. So when the other disciples saw him walking, they thought he was a ghost. They thought they were seeing a ghost. So Peter was the only one spoke out and said, Master, if that's you, call me to come to you. So Jesus had called him and told him to come. you know. So Peter had a little faith. He got out of the boat and he started walking on top of the water. But then when he heard the wind start blowing. He started being afraid and he started having doubt. He turned around and like he wanted to run back to the boat. Instead of him keeping his eyes on Jesus, he began to sink. And that's how we all is. We can be moving forward, but soon as that storm just start rising, the wind just start blowing, we panicking, we get afraid, and we might have doubt and get at a standstill, and we start sinking or get placed in a pit. And then we have to call out to Jesus for Jesus to reach his hand out and pull us out of the pit and save us like he had to do Peter. He had to pull Peter out because Peter had started sinking with doubt. And Jesus had told him, why you had doubt? You had a little faith, you know. And so Jesus told him, you had doubt. You know, he had doubt. Without doubt, he had a little faith walking on that water until he panicked when the storm started rising. So the storm can start rising and we start having doubt. That just like with that widow. Her stone started rising to finish. She started running out the last of her research. So she started fixing the last mirror and see how God always step on time. You could be at your last, just running out of everything. Next thing you know, God will step in. And see, God always step in right on time at your last. God will show up, and God have his prophet on earth to work the miracle for him, You know, he worked that miracle through his prophets to save us on earth. You know, so Peter was walking. Peter was walking on water into the storm, you know, walking on water with a little faith. And when the storm started rising, you know, he panicked and had doubt, and he started sinking and cried out to Jesus, and Jesus reached out and saved him. You know, see, long as you got faith, that's what I'm saying. Long as you got faith, you able to keep on walking forward in your storm. But soon as that doubt start kicking in, you start sinking. You know, you start being at a standstill. You know, that means you got to have faith in order to move in your mountain, to move in your stone. You got to have faith. So the Lord saved Peter and said, you have a little faith. Why did you doubt? You know, Peter had a little faith, but the stone and the wind came, and he started having doubt, and he started sinking. You know, so with doubt by itself, you will sink. You will be at a standstill. You know, long as he had faith, he was able to walk on top of that water. You know, and that's how it is. Once you have that faith, you know, faith can knock down mountains. You know, faith can have you walking on water. Faith can have you moving forward in your storm. You know, mine might be a slow process, but I done come a long way in my storm. I done come for multiple purpose. You know, and I look back and see how far I done came, and how my storm looked like it was at a standstill for a long time. You know, you got to get out that mindset sometime in order to move forward. You know, you got to change the way you was thinking, you know, to move forward. Long as he had that faith, he was moving forward. Long as you get doubt, and long as you have that doubt, you're gonna stay at a standstill, or you will sink. You know, even if you have doubt, don't stay in that doubt. You know, you got to have faith to keep on moving forward. You know, so with doubt by itself, you will sink. You know, as long as you have faith, you will be able to walk on water. You'll be able to move mountains. You'll be able to move your stone. You'll be able to move anything with faith. You know, I have faith, and that's why I'm going to keep on moving forward. You know, you got to keep your head up high. Keep on pressing your way through. You know, don't have doubt. Doubt will have your head all hanging down, having you all sad and moping. You know, they be wondering how I'm still happy, even in my storm would look like it was just sinking, and I still was working. I still was keeping my head up. I still was smiling. You know, that's when you got faith, knowing that you trusting in God. You know, trusting in God, believing He gonna be moving mountains in your storm. You know, so that's why I told you earlier on, with doubt by itself, it will keep you at a standstill, or you will sink. You have to have faith to move in your storm. You know, Peter had a little faith to get out of the boat. He also had a little faith to walk on top of the water. You know, but when his storm started rising, you know, he started having doubt and turned around and started sinking. And he had to call out to God. You know, he had to call out to Jesus to pull him out. You know, and Jesus told him, Jesus told him, why you doubt? As long as you had faith, you was walking on top of that water. You know, then that's how we is. As long as we have faith, we able to keep on moving forward in our storm. But once you let the devil kick in with that widow, you know, she just like, oh, I'm fixing my last meal. You know, me and my son gonna die. You speaking a curse over your life. You don't want to speak a curse over your life that you will die. You got to speak positive that you will live, that you're gonna make it through this drought. You're gonna make it through this storm. That's the way you have to keep on talking. That's the way I do. No matter how my storm look, I have faith, and I believe. I have a vision. And that's another thing. You got to have a vision. You got to visualize your future. And, you know, if you're gonna keep visualizing your future, that means you're gonna make it through this drought. You're gonna make it through this storm. And that's the way I see. If I keep visualizing my song, you're gonna keep on having that strong faith to get out of this storm, to get to your future that you visualize. You know, so faith will give you hope, you know, that you will come out of this storm. You know, faith will give you hope, you know, whatever you visualize it, you know, your dream. Hope will allow you to enter into your dream, will enter into your future. Doubt will not lead you to your future. Doubt will leave you sinking and keep you at a standstill. You know, so we have to have a strong faith that will remove doubt from our mind. And see, that's what God had to work on that with her. God had two plans. He had plan A. See, if plan A didn't work out, he had plan B. He did a supernatural miracle for the first one. She still had unbelief. So God had to come out with plan two. And the son got sick. That's something she loved, that touched her heart, and God perceived that right in front of her face. When she saw that her son was alive, when she thought he was dead, she ain't had no other choice but to trust God. So in your storm, you may have doubt, but have faith to move forward. Make sure you have a strong faith to keep moving forward in that storm when it's rising, because your storm will rise. Because long as you keep on standing, the devil will keep on rising your storm. But you have to have faith and you have to trust God in your storm. Doubt by itself, you will not win. You will stand at a standstill and you will sink. One, the widow had doubt and unbelief that her and her son would die. But she had a little faith to use the tools that she had to survive. Two, God had to receive two miracles for her to trust him. And sometimes God had to keep on showing miracles in our life. And sometimes we don't even realize God shows miracles in our life all the time. And we still complain about this thing when God be done did that. And sometimes we don't the wonders that God do in our life. And we are still complain and have doubt. You know. So we also talked about Peter. Peter had a little faith to get out of the boat, even to walk on water. Too, that we see that when a storm rises and the wind has started blowing, that Peter had doubt and he began to be afraid and sank, and he called out to Jesus. So we all may get afraid. The storm will rise. Because the storm will not be easy. It will not be easy. It will rise. But we have to realize, no matter how big our storm is, we have to realize that God is bigger than our storm. That God made a plan for our life, like he did with that widow. He wrote out a plan for her life. He sent Elijah over there. He already had everything set out what he was gonna do to change. He already searched her heart that she had unbelief. So he already had in plan to send Elijah over there. So Elijah think he just gone over there, help over to try to whatever. Didn't realize that God had a plan to proceed these miracles, to touch this woman's heart, to get rid of that unbelief, to start trusting in him. you know. So we all get like it's the Israelites sometimes, make complaint and stuff like that when the stones start rising, because the stone will rise. Ain't nobody gonna be in no storm and your storm gonna be easy. So you ain't doing something right and you in the storm and it's all easy and you just came on out with no scars, no bruise, no nothing. Your storm gonna rise. When you doing something right, your storm gonna keep on rising. You keep on standing on God, your storm gonna keep on rising. You keep standing on God's word, your storm gonna keep on rising. That's just like with Job. Job kept on standing, no matter what the devil did to him. Job kept on standing on God, and he never cursed God. Because long as you keep standing on God's word, you keep believing and trusting in God, the devil gonna keep on having your storm keep on rising. But you have to keep on standing on your ground and keep believing and trusting in God. And if you complain a little bit and have a little doubt, get rid of it. Don't keep it in your mind, because that's the devil doing. The devil wants to pull you away from God and put all the doubt in your head. But you got to keep on. You got to keep on believing and trusting in God. You got to have faith, because faith is the only thing that will move mountains, that will move your stone. Doubt and unbelief you will not make it. You will not make it. When them doubt and that unbelief got in my mind, I kept on having faith and kept moving forward. When you keep moving forward, the doubt and unbelief eventually going to have to move out of your way, because you constantly got your head up high and you constantly moving forward. You got to constantly be moving forward. You got to not stand still in doubt. You have to have faith to move forward. Longer Peter had a little faith, he was walking on top of that water. Soon as the storm started raising, he got afraid and he had doubt and he started sinking. So we see that with faith, you can walk on top of water. With faith, you can move mountains. With faith, you can keep on moving forward in your storm. And you also got to trust God. You got to trust God in your storm, because He create your storm. He create your drought. He create the rain when it comes. He'll stop the rain if He want to stop the rain. He create your storm. He create your drought. He'll create that. If He don't want no rain to come, He create all that. So if He can create your storm, He can stop your storm anytime He wants. Just like He did Job. Job was in that storm for a long period of time. But Job, sometimes God will sit back to see how your faith is and see how you gonna still stand up for God, that you still gonna love God through all that pain and suffering. If you're gonna still love God through all that pain and suffering, Job still loved the God through all that pain and suffering. He even told her wife, "You gonna sit down, you acting foolish." He loved the God more than his wife, and he had to tell her to go sit down somewhere. God want to see if you're gonna still love Him in your pain and suffering. Because God always do miracle for you. He gonna pull you out. Look how He stopped Job's storm. And all the stuff that Joe hadn't lost, God restored everything back and tripled it. He done put his health back together. The devil had to put a hip or put his socket out of place from his foot up to his head. God restored his health back. God gave him more children back. God had give him more of everything back, because he still loved the God in the mix of his pain and suffering. He was in pain and suffering. He still was praising God. He was still praying. And that's how I be. I be in this house with pain and suffering, dealing with all kind of stuff. And I still be praising God. I still put material out and praise God and Jesus all the time in the mix of my pain and suffering. You have to still praise them in that mix and suffering. But with doubt,